By the way, our Constitution does give us the right, doesn't it, to speak out against our government in a respectful way. It does give us the right to vote someone out of office. And if you don't vote, then keep your mouth shut, right?
Right.
You have no right to criticize the government if you don't vote. If you do vote, go to the next election. You don't keep your mouth shut. You have the right to criticize the government in a proper way. It says here, too, that he blessed the government. It's interesting that this blessing of Pharaoh and Pharaoh's Egyptian empire, think if Joseph had not come down there, how does God work in such mysterious ways? Certainly the imprisonment, the selling of Joseph by his brothers to the Canaanites there, and how they bring him down and all that story, had, of course, a theological goal as part of the Heilsgeschichte in German, the salvation history, to get God's people down to Egypt so that God could work his great redemption of them and bring them out back to the promised land. But think also there's other things going on. Had Joseph not been sold into slavery, what would have happened to the Egyptian empire during the 7-year famine? They'd all died, you see? And so here, the pagan government benefits from the people of God. Isn't that interesting? And God's Heilsgeschichte benefits secular history too. And Luther makes the point, and I think in the large catechism somewhere, that if it were not for the church, which the pagan people do not appreciate, and in some cultures even persecute, this world would be going to hell in a basket real quick. He didn't put it that way, but that's kind of what he means to say. The world will go belly up real quick. It's because of the daily prayers of the church, the faithful service of God's people, the influence that the church has on the secular people around us. The, how can I put this? The things that God does in the world out there for the benefit of his church, that ends up benefiting secular people, when really God's main goal, of course, is always for his church. And let's just get some application. Let's think of the history of the U.S. of A. Now this is our faith talk. Put on your faith glasses. The great benefits that the United States has enjoyed, we would say is due because of God's great plan of Heilsgeschichte for his church. And as the Christian church came to these shores, not just the Lutherans, but other denominations too, and the Holy Spirit does work through other denominations, wherever the gospel is preached. We know that, as Lutherans. Think of the great plan God had to get his church built up, and how his blessings kind of overflow in the cup of salvation, kind of spill over, so that even secular people kind of enjoy these blessings too. You know what I'm getting at? And that's kind of what has happened here with Egypt. For 7 years, they enjoy the benefit of Joseph, and they have great prosperity. Pharaoh never realizes, probably, the great benefits that accrued to him and his people because of these Hebrews that had come into his country. And I was going to quote from Genesis chapter 12, the great promise to Abraham, which I'll read it. If you want to look it up, it's chapter 12, verses 2 to 3, where God says to Abraham, I will make of you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great. And I will bless all those who bless you. And all the families of the earth will be blessed in connection with you. And we see that kind of promise to Abraham already starting to find some initial fulfillment right here in Egypt. It happened in Germany. Great blessings that happened in the country of Germany for the sake of the Reformation. Once God was done with that, Germany suffered. They're still kind of paying for that mess in World War II, right? And when God is done with his Heilsgeschichte for the Christian church in this country, let's not think our country is more favored than any other. Why, that's heresy, isn't it? The only reason I think we enjoy the great blessings we do is not just because of our hard work. It's because of God's Heilsgeschichte, the stuff he has wanted to accomplish for his church. And great things have happened. And I hope that we continue to loosen our purse strings here in this congregation. It's a little piece of the United States. And the great wealth God has given us, and we don't just spend it on ourselves. And I guess this hits me all the time so much coming back from my trips in India, and I see the poverty there and the desperate need those countries like that need for what we have. The wealth we have, the resources we have, human resources, books, scholarship, knowledge, money, etc. If we tighten up our purse strings too much, God may say, all right, let's move on to another country. Let's see if we can get another country to open up their purse strings. Don't think it can't happen. Study your history. It's happened. I don't say that just to put a lot of guilt on us, but I do think that we need to understand that the blessings we enjoy as American citizens, again, this is our faith speaking, is due largely to the fact that the church is here. And the blessings God has for His church, if I may repeat this, are spilling over, rippling out into the government around us. And that's a marvelous thing. There are secular people don't recognize. Verse 8 and following, Pharaoh says to Jacob, how many of the days of the years of your life? Jacob says to Pharaoh, the days of the years of my sojourning. Interesting word, sojourning. What does that suggest? About Jacob's understanding of his life in this world. What's a sojourn? Yeah, did you ever see the movie Support Your Local Sheriff, James Garner? Did you see that movie? I'm on my way to Australia. I'm always on my way to Australia. That's what he says in the movie, or something like that. I'm but a stranger here. Heaven is my home. As Lutherans, I always have to have this little caveat here. As Lutherans, we're not against enjoying the wealth God gives. So let's not go too far to the other side. We do accept the first article of the Creed, don't we? I believe that God has made me, given me my body, soul, eyes, ears, my wealth, etc., etc. Land, animals, everything I have. Okay, so we're not pietistic in the sense that we feel guilty about our wealth. However, on the other hand, let's understand that God perhaps gave us our wealth to use it for the sake of the kingdom. And certainly here, we are sojourners, as Jacob understood himself. We're on our way. And let's not get too comfortable here and make too many permanent investments in this world. I say permanent investments which may make us lose the real investment. If any of you have financial advisors, they may tell you once in a while to move your investments around a little bit. It's bad to have them all in one place, right? If you had them all in the housing market about 10 years ago, you're broke right now, right? It was very good to have some bonds or something else. And I would say spiritually, let's not make our investments in one place, namely this world, because the world in its present form, what does Paul say? You know that text? The world in its present form is passing away. And most of us have been around the block enough, I think, to remember that those fads, that music, those lifestyles, those clothes we wear, those automobiles we drove, we look back at ourselves in the 40s and 50s, in my case in the 50s and 60s, and we laugh. And our kids look at pictures of us when we were in high school, and they make fun of that and mock that. Oh, look at your hair. Look at those clothes. You know. Well, they'll get laughed at too. That is our reality. Grandkids will laugh at that, right, too. And I won't tell the story about my oldest son. I would embarrass him. I'll stop there on that one. But not his hair. That's another story. Well, mine too. I'll tell about me. My grandmother could not stand it when I came home from college with my hair over my ears like that, the big mustache. She'd say, join the human race. And my dad, boy, did he get upset with me. In fact, I came home from college once, and he insisted the day I walked in the door, I had to go to my uncle, who was a barber, and get a haircut. My uncle was a great guy. Uncle Walter was his name. And when I went in, I said, I guess you just got home from school, right? I said, yeah, your dad sent you here, didn't he? Yeah. Well, let me see if I can help you. If you comb it back. He was a great guy. Comb it back like this, and I'll just kind of trip. He'll never notice. So that's what he did. Went back to school, I just combed it back down. But you know now, it's a funny thing, when I got to be about 30 years old, 35, my hair was shorter than my dad's. You never caught on to that one. Anyway, styles change. So my point is, again, let's not get too involved in this world around us, you see, because we're passing on. We are sojourners. If I may quote that hymn again, I'm but a stranger here. Heaven is my home. And let's introspect just a moment. Do we live as being sojourners here? You think about it. Do you live as a pilgrim, or are we living as permanent residents here in this